Well, it's a good news, bad news thing. The great thing is our temperatures have been running way below normal here, with this recent round of rain. Some spots are probably going to be stuck in the low 80s today for high temperatures here on Labor Day, which doesn't happen very often, right? The bad thing is we're really going to have to be on the lookout for flooding throughout the day down on Galveston Island in particular, and maybe a couple of other spots. But during the late morning hours and approaching this time, it really has been pouring down there. And so we're going to talk about what training thunderstorms are, why they cause flooding, and of course, what to expect for the week ahead, because actually once we go back to work and school, we're going to have probably some additional rain for the next probably 3 to 4 days, and then some changes maybe on the way, some changes that I think you're going to like. So let me take you here to this first graphic that I have set up for you, which is rainfall. And actually, let me change this to 12-hour rainfall instead of 6-hour rainfall. So this is how much rain has fallen basically since midnight tonight, at the time that you're watching this. And in particular, the heaviest of the rain has fallen, strangely enough. I mean, it's amazing just how this worked out. I mean, we knew it was going to be a crummy day pretty much for Labor Day. But where did the rain hit hardest? Down here near Surfside Beach, and then also right here for Galveston Beach. It was, and even over here around Crystal Beach in these spots. So all of the areas that people might have wanted to go for the for Labor Day, not such good luck at all. So when we take a look here at Galveston in particular, wow. I mean, some whopper storms. We can go ahead and query this. This is the radar estimated rainfall totals of 6 inches. I mean, that seems about what we got. Even at the airport there, the official observation, I think it was showing more than 4 inches by around 11 a.m. this morning. So really pretty widespread here. 5 to 6 inches of rain just falling today, and most of that just falling since about 4 a.m., between about 4 and 11 or so. So yeah, pretty torrential rainfall. We had a flash flood warning until for Galveston until noon. So yeah, any plans that you had to go there, not looking really good. This is what it looked like here. I'm going to go ahead and lapse this for 8 hours because I want to back it up here and show you exactly what we were looking at here as far as this rain moving in. So this is an 8-hour loop. Let me go ahead and clean it up here a little bit because I know it looks kind of ugly. You get a lot of sort of clutter when you have a temperature inversion in place, and usually first thing in the morning and things like that, and sometimes even through the afternoon. So let me go ahead and clean this up so we could just see the rain. There we go. I'm going to turn on the lightning here too. Yeah. So pausing the action here, early in the day on Labor Day, it already looked like, okay, unfortunately, this forecast is panning out, and it's not going to be a very good Labor Day forecast. And then as the morning wore on, some passing showers. Now you get some bigger thunderstorms at around 5 in the morning. Now you start getting that flooding threat for Galveston. Here's 7 o'clock, and then here we start setting up that so-called training effect of thunderstorms. So let me show you what we're looking at here when we talk about training. And the reason I wanted to reiterate this is because this comes up for us very often in Houston. It comes up during hurricane season. Let me shut off the lightning there. This comes up pretty frequently during hurricane season and otherwise, where you have, let's say this is one side of the train tracks and this is the other side of the train tracks. And when we put this back and forth in motion, you see, it's like train cars just going over the same narrow band of train track. You see that? So this is, let's see, 8:30 this morning. Now we're an hour later, 9:30. Now we're an hour later, 10:30. So you pretty much had 2 straight hours of continuous rain from cell after cell after cell, just dropping the pretty torrential downpour down there on the island. Now, this was really the only spot that we really had that training taking place. I mean, to a lesser extent, let's see down here in Brazoria, Yeah, it was sort of more broken up. So it really was just that area of Galveston, and that is what you will always hear us referring to. Let's say if we were getting hit by a tropical system and you had a rain band coming in, you'll get training over that area. Or as we turn the corner into fall, and sometimes you get a front that stalls over, and we'll talk about front in a minute. I think you'll like it. You get a front that stalls over the area. And sometimes you could have training forming along that, or if the jet stream is set up a particular way. So that's really, really important for our, following of flooding and things like that. So if you live down on the island and you're watching this live here, be aware that you're probably still going to run into some flooded streets in some of these areas that flood really often. So that's what's happening with this. Now, I also wanted to show you a couple other things because, believe it or not, there actually is a chance of some tropical development. It's not a huge chance, but it is a slight chance here. Let me go ahead and change this color table to make it look a little bit easier to see. Let's see, maybe this one. Sometimes putting that black background works pretty well. Let me loop this for 2 hours here. So, yeah, we're not going to be able to see much circulation there. If you look really close, let's kind of focus in on this in the middle, because what I'm looking at here is any potential for a low to form. So we're going to be looking here at this general area here by Corpus Christi. Okay, and then let me put this back and forth here. Hard to see. Well, there you go right there, actually. Let's zoom in on this again. So if you just look really close, I mean, it's hard to tell, I know. But there actually is an area there that has about a 10% chance for development. Go ahead and put this on a different kind of imagery and see if maybe we could make it look a little nicer. Here we go. Add that enhancement to it. There we go. Yeah. Sometimes you put a bright color table like this, and it helps to differentiate the cold cloud tops from the warmer cloud tops. And let's see. Let's loop this again over the last 8 hours. So here we go. So this is... Now I'm looking at this kind of, I looked at it on the air, but I'm looking at it with you right now just to see what's going on. And notice how the clouds are all kind of cutting across the screen from the left side to the right side of your screen. And that's a sign of shear. So those are some higher upper level winds, which is why that little disturbance in the Gulf only has about a 10% chance of developing, because it just it's sort of in hostile conditions for development. I do want to show you though, so back over here on these graphics, I want to show you the HRRR computer model. Again, this is our HRRR, otherwise known as the High Resolution Rapid Refresh model. And so let me go ahead, because I want to show you what the newest, what we call the 12Z run was showing. So I'm going in here, I'm going to select 12Z, that's 7 a.m. is 12Z. Let me select the cloud cover for 12Z. This model runs 4 times a day. You get a longer run, I think 36 hours, that you'll get at like 7 a.m., 7 p.m., and then the in-between runs, you get like a 12-hour window approximately. So let me go ahead and set this up for as long as it'll go out. Let me do like 40 hours, I think. And then let me zoom out a little bit here. And this is where it's going to start looking kind of interesting, because you'll see here that the HRRR is picking up on that circulation that's down by Corpus Christi. So let's see. I haven't even looked at this actually to see what the HRRR is showing. So let's just zip it on through. Kind of zipping. And this is interesting. So it's good. Earlier runs were showing a circulation forming pretty strongly, actually, up around our coastline. And now this latest run is not. So, and that kind of goes hand in hand with what we've been telling you from the National Hurricane Center, which only had about a 10% chance of development on this one. So, you'll see, if we put this back, which, by the way, that's the end of the grid. You see how it stops? The HRRR computer model is just a continental United States grid. So it's not like the HRRR does European or African weather. It literally is just a grid of high resolution over the United States, and that's what it's used for. It's just U.S. forecasting. Anyway, so this is just showing, it's kind of a continuation of the off and on heavy rain for us. I could also switch this over to accumulated precipitation. Let's see, accumulated precip. Okay, and then let me get rid of the clouds. So this is the next basically 48 hours of precipitation. And you'll see that out here in central Texas, there's actually a lot of rain that's expected to fall. You can query these things too. San Angelo area, 10 inches of rain. Whoa. They need that, by the way, to flow into Austin. I know like Lake Travis and a lot of those places are really low. Let me take off that wind. That wind is annoying me. So anyway, this is out in central Texas, West Texas. Now if we zoom in on us here, let me just get rid of this. If you zoom in on our area here, you'll see that pretty much, okay, here we go. Pretty much it's a lot of just what we're seeing today. Because if we start here at noon, and you'll see here, so rain by between noon and 11 p.m. tonight, and then tomorrow a little bit more, but mostly to our south. And when you add up the next 40 hours of rainfall across southeast Texas, I mean, you'll notice that like from Conroe northward, there's not that much happening. Fort Bend has a little bit going on here for your now through Wednesday morning. But here's some pretty impressive accumulations. 6.2, 7.8, 6 inches, 3.9, and then over here, not as much, like less than an inch. So the bottom line is that flooding threat is going to continue along the coastline mostly. And in fact, we can check in on that too with this graphic that will show us the National Weather Service forecast for the area that's at the flooding risk. So here we go on that one. This is the day one flooding risk area, and here we go. So that shows the state of Texas, and remember I showed you all that heavy rain that was expected out in West Texas, so we got that. And then here in our area, again, north of Houston, really, a very low risk, not zero, but really low. And then a slight risk here, or what's considered a marginal risk here around the greater Houston area, Sugar Land, Clear Lake, Baytown. And then it's this coastal area here, Galveston and Texas City, back to Angleton, Lake Jackson, Freeport, and Palacios. Those are the areas that are seeing a flooding risk for the day today. And then as far as tomorrow is concerned, let me show you that as well. So we're going to look at the flash flood risk for day 2 and 3, which would be Tuesday to Tuesday night, and then Wednesday to Wednesday night. And here it comes. So this is now tomorrow. So here we go Tuesday, and again, West Texas, but also we're still looking at this marginal chance for seeing some street flooding and minor flooding and stuff. Again, Galveston County, Brazoria County, but now maybe Harris again. And now we're day 3, which is going to be Wednesday, and we're still seeing this threat for seeing some flooding. Now that is going to change, and I want to show you a couple things. I think you're probably going to like the looks of this. Is that there is an end in sight and a really nice, pleasant change on the way. So this is our exclusive Fox model. And by exclusive Fox model, I mean this is proprietary to Fox and within our station group. And for those who are weather nerds, this is a modification of the WRF, Weather Research and Forecasting Model. And that's like... the way it works in meteorology is like, suppose you were doing a project for, let's say you were going to get your master's degree or something, and you wanted to change or mess with the computer model to see if you can get it to do better in Houston or wherever you are. you can use the WRF, this model, basically, not the Fox model, but the WRF model itself is free. It's available. It's what you call open source. So you'd need, I think, a special computer to process everything, but you could download all the software and all that, if you knew how to do all that stuff, which I don't. But you could download all the software and make modifications to it to specialize it. Like you can make the resolution, tighter, and you can maybe specialize it for the city and things like that. And anyway, what this guy Jim Weber did out of Tampa with Fox is he specialized the Fox model initially to try and get the best idea for like sea breeze thunderstorms and pop-up thunderstorms in Florida. And then in some of the strides he made in that regard, he kind of spread it around the country, and now it's also a tropical model. So bottom line is nobody else has it. But if we look at this, which I think is a 4-day outlook, what you'll see here is that the Fox model is showing a little bit of rain every day. See that? Like here on our coastline, more rain. This is Wednesday. And now here's into Thursday when some subtle changes start to happen. So there's that heavy rain moving into Louisiana. Now, look what happens here at the very end. Okay, so here, coming up on Friday, 6 p.m., look at what we have here. You see that wind? I have these wind arrows on here. And we could make this, maybe I could increase it. There we go. I can make it look a little bit more obvious. And then draw what we're actually expecting to happen here. So here is a look at a front. We like that, right? So you could fit a front in roughly, let's see, right around there and right around there, give or take there. So on the north side, on the north of it here where Houston is, there's a northeast breeze coming in. This is Friday, late Friday. So that should drop our humidity values a little bit and push the rain out of the area. And there's a good chance, there's no guarantee, but there's a good chance that that might actually give us a pretty decent weekend. In fact, we could even delete some of this stuff here, and I'll go ahead and just call up the relative humidity. Or let's do dew point, because dew point is it's kind of easier to track. So here's the dew point value, and what we're looking for is any drop. We want to get rid of that dark green. So here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So on Friday we start to see a hint of something happening. So all of this kind of orangish yellow kind of up there is dry air. And that's going to try to push down into our neck of the woods. Let me go ahead and consult a different model here that can take us out longer. So this will be the GFS. And let's change this to dew point. And again, and I'm going to extend this through the weekend here. Let's go ahead and just get more fun with this one. There we go. So now, look at this. Here we go. So remember, we're looking to get rid of that dark green, right? So here we go. So it's green, green, green. That means humid, 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 rain, 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 rain. Wednesday, Thursday, still Friday. It's starting to drop a little bit. And then look what happens here this weekend. Whoosh. See that? So between Friday and look at this, the green go away and this yellow come in. Whoosh. So what that's showing us is that there's going to be drier air up here around Dallas and drier air coming into Houston. And what that may do is allow us to cool down a little bit. Now, not necessarily during the day, but especially at night, we're looking for somewhat cooler air. So let me pull up here the forecast temperatures here. All right. So let me stencil this here. This is called a stencil. Watch, I'm going to get rid of the ocean. Boop. So here is a look at, I want to go to Sunday morning. Here we go. So that's Sunday. So this is still hot in the afternoon, but here we go. Now look at this. This is like 4, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. And watch this. I'm going to query this. By query, I mean we're going to like take a little sample. of some temperatures. 70, 73, 71. I mean, look, we're not talking about like freezing cold or anything, but if we can get our low temperature down to 71 degrees on Sunday morning with low humidity, I think that's going to feel pretty nice. So let's just look forward to that, definitely, right? So we got that going for us. And aside from that, let's just check out what's happening in the tropics, because there are, a couple of things to watch. So Gulf of Mexico, as I mentioned, the only thing that's really been going on has been that, what's happening right along our coast, basically. In the Caribbean Sea, there's a tropical wave that's located right there. And that one has a very small chance of developing in the short term, and then about a 40% chance in the longer term. And I'll show you that here in a minute on the GFS model. And then, we're definitely getting into where it's like a make or break on this Cape Verde season. And we're starting to see a little bit more activity there in that area, the Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ, which is this area right here, where you have this almost constant area of rising air, where you have wind coming together. You have the the trade winds that come in like this, and then the trade winds come in like this. And so in the middle, the air comes together, and you have this area of nearly constant convection, and we call that the Intertropical Convergence Zone. But this part of the season is named after these islands right here, which are, we call them Cape Verde. Some people are tempted to call them Cape Verde, but it isn't. It's Cape Verde because it's actually Cabo Verde, which is Portuguese. It's not Spanish, it's Portuguese, Cabo Verde. So the Cape Verde season, Cabo Verde season, if you want to really be a snob about it. And finally, let's just take a look here at what could be brewing. So just like I did with that last one where I pulled up the GFS model and was able to, extend it into several days, let me go ahead and do that here. So here we go. Wait, I already showed you the Fox model. I don't want to show you the Fox model. I want to show you the GFS model. Bear with me here. I got so many models here. I'm telling you, sometimes it's like I got too many frames in my show. Come on, Mike, get it together. Well, let's do this. I'll show you the Fox model, and then I'll show you the GFS model on top of that. Because remember, the GFS is the American kind of government model, and then the Fox model is our proprietary model. So here's Fox model. I want to take this out. I'm just going to zip this out all the way to the end. So this is Sunday at noon. And notice what it's showing here. Look at that. Yeah, a low. Maybe even a tropical storm. Maybe a tropical depression in the Yucatan. And there's your cold front, that line, in the Gulf of Mexico. And here's a couple other tropical waves in the Atlantic possible this weekend. There's one there that might be a depression or a storm. We got more activity over here. Look, there's a spin there. There's a spin there. So the bottom line is we are going to start to see a lot more tropical development here in the days to come, as the historical peak of hurricane season is September the 10th. So as we get closer to that, there's probably going to be a flurry of activity out in the Atlantic Ocean. And right now, the closest one that looks like it's coming to us might affect the Yucatan next week. So we'll obviously keep a close eye on that. I hope you have a great Labor Day. Hopefully I was good background noise if you just had Fox Local streaming in the background. So have a great day. I'm going to be heading home here in a minute, hopefully getting a nap in and then seeing what the family wants to do. So anyway, everybody, shout out to my mom and Neil in Florida. And over here, it's going to be good napping weather. Not so great for grilling, but good napping weather. Take care, everybody.